explain how to play Minesweeper. I'm going to start with easy and then get it all the way to expert. For some reason my computer didn't come with it, so I had to download this version from like Google Play or something. But it works the same as the normal version. So first you just click. So the ones, well, the goal, there's mines scattered throughout the game, the board, and each number shows that that number is touching that number of mines, and all 8 squares around that number count as touching that square. This is the only square that this one is touching, so we know that that's a mine. So we'll right click it to flag it as a mine. This is the only square this one is touching, so we know that that's a mine. So we'll flag that. Now, this 2 says it's touching 2 mines, and we already know that both of these are mines based on these other ones. So, since it's touching exactly 2 mines, it's not touching more than, can't touch more than 2 mines. We know that this one's safe. This 2 is touching these 2 mines, so we know that these other 2 squares that are touching it are also safe. We can't tell anything for sure here, so we'll just come back over here. This one shows that this one is the only one touching it, so we know that's a mine. Same with these 2 2s. These 2 are the only 2 that they're touching, so we know they're both mines. This one is touching this one mine already, so we know anything else it's touching is safe. I didn't expect to hit something this complicated in a beginner game. You normally will never see that. I'm gonna skip that for now. This one is a mine because these 2, that's the only one they're touching. Basically, you have to find numbers that, like this one, you just ignore that number for now because it's touching so many you can't tell anything. So you kind of work from the ends and corners. This one is already touching a mine, so anything else touching is safe. This one shows that one's mine. Safe because of these 2 ones. That one's already touching that one, so all these 3 are safe. 2 are mines. It's the 2s. They're touching that one, and then those are the only 2 other one they were touching. Okay, so up here it shows we have 2 mines left, which means that if there's only 1 mine left, then it could have been like these 2, say, or no. Wait. Let me think about this. Okay, so we know that since this 4 can only touch 4 mines, and it's touching 3, and then these are the other 2 squares it's touching, we know that only one of these can be a mine. And we can use the same logic with the 2. It's touching this one, and it can only be touching 1 mine, so only one of these 2 is a mine. So, I believe that it'd be these 2 that are the mines. Okay, so we're going to skip right ahead to an advanced board. Okay, so far it'll start out about the same. These ones, that's a mine. This 2, it's only touching these, so that's a mine. This one is touching 1, so these 2 other ones it's touching are safe. This one shows that these 3 are safe. This 2 shows that these 2 are both mines because they're the only ones it's touching. This 3 is already touching 3 mines, so this one's safe. And this 2 is touching 2 mines, so this one's safe. I'm gonna go ahead and comment if I see something, a situation we haven't seen yet. I like this game because there's almost no chance involved in it. It's strictly based on your reasoning skills, whether you can win it or not. Occasionally in advanced, you will run into a situation where you end up having to take a chance because it just happens to where you can't tell. So sometimes you'll lose it no matter how good you are, but just because you might end up having to take a chance. Well, maybe someone that's better than me wouldn't. There might be some trick I don't know about. I never use the question marks, but I might use them a little bit in the... Okay, here's a situation that's new. Where I'll actually use the question marks to kind of illustrate it. Okay, so right here, this 3 is touching 2 mines, so these are the only 2 others it's touching. So we know that one of these is a mine. So I'll mark them with question marks. So based on that, even though we don't know which one it is, we know that this one is already touching a mine. So we can go ahead and know that this other one is safe. I don't normally use the question marks for that, so I'll just take them off again, but just to illustrate that. Here's another place you can do the same thing. This 2 is touching this one, so that we know that one of these 2 is a mine because it has to be touching 2 mines, not just one. This 2 is touching both that one and both of these, and we know that one of these is a mine. So we know that it's already touching 2 and that these other 3 it's touching are all safe. This one also, it's touching both of these ones, and we know that one of these is a mine. So these other 3 it's touching are safe. That's really the main other trick I know that that will really advance your game beyond what you might already what you might just be able to think of right away. Sometimes you'll see something like that, and it'll come in different variations too if I see it again, like in a different form. Okay, so back over here. So we know that one of these is a mine based on both the 1 and the 3. So we know that this 2 is touching 1 mine because it's touching both of those. And so we know that Therefore, one of these two has to be the second mine that is touching. This one is touching both of those, so we know this third one is touching is safe. Okay, this two, it's touching two mines. Now we know that it can't be both of these two because this one is touching both of those, so only one of those can be a mine. And we know it can't be both of these two for the same reason. But if only one of these is a mine. Oh wait, never mind. I forgot it's touching this one, the third one. I thought I was gonna have something there. I thought I was gonna predict that one was a mine. Wait, that's tell anything from this. If you're able to figure it out, then like leave a comment in the comments and say how, because I don't see it. Okay, this 4 is touching these 3. So one of these last two has to be the mine. This 3 is already touching 2, so that makes the third one, making these two safe. 2 tells us that's a mine. One of these two is a mine based on the 4. So, and the 2 is touching that, so these 3 are safe. Hmm. One of these is a mine based on the 3. I think this is going to be one of those situations where you just have to take a chance. Anywhere I click, it's about a 50% chance of being a mine. I decided that that one was less likely than this one. Because there was, well, really, there was probably no logical reason to decide that. Okay, one of these is a mine. So this 4 is touching 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th mine. So this 4 is now touching 4 mines. So we now save mine. Save mine. Okay. Usually if there's a 2 surrounded by 1s, the one underneath the 2 is safe. But because it's touching this one also, I'm not sure if I want to chance that based on that. Okay, so two of these are mines. 2 could be touching 1 or 2 of them, so can't really tell. tell for sure over here either. The advanced board is really about as concentrated as you can get the mines. Any more concentrated and you'll constantly run into this kind of situation. So it's really about as concentrated as you can get, and still, that was just a chance. And not run into, not rely on chance very often. Sometimes you're lucky and you get a board where you don't have to at all. Which means that two of these are mines. No, two of these. Never mind. Because it could be like this one and that one. Yeah, because only one of these two is a mine and only one of these two. Oh, wait. Okay, so. Okay, let me go back and figure that out again so I can explain it. Okay, so. One of these two is a mine. Okay, here's what I did. So this 4 is touching these 3. So we know that one of these is a mine. So this 2 is touching one mine for sure up here, which leaves one mine for sure here. That means this 3 is touching one mine for sure here. And then 2 of these are mines out of these 4. Now we know that only one of these 2 is a mine because this 4 and this 3 are already touching 2 out of, or only one less than their total number of mines, which leaves one of these 2 a mine. So that means that these 2 2s are both touching 2 mines, which means that this one and this one are safe. Which makes these 2 mines based on the 4. That one's safe. This one's safe now because of the 4. We can move on. So 4 is touching 3. So there's 2 more that are mines touching the 5. Only one of them, the 2 means that only one is of those, so the third, this one has to be a mine. Okay, I figured out something. So this 3 is touching 1, which means it's touching 2 more. So it could be touching. Well, only one of these 2 can be a mine because the 2 is touching that. We know that 1 is a mine for sure because these 3 are the only options. This one's a mine because only one of those 2 can be a mine. And these, based on these 3 being the ones that it's touching. That means now we have 2 and one of those is a mine, which means this 2 is touching 1, 2, safe. Okay, so this 3, one of these 2 is a mine based on the 3. which means the 2 is touching one mine. There's the second one. Safe. 7. You don't see those too often. 6. That's kind of rare. I think this is gonna be a place where it'll be impossible to tell. Yeah, because this 2 and 5 only tell us that one of those 2 is a mine. We can tell for sure that one's a mine, but that doesn't help us any. So it's total chance here. Okay. And there you have it. That's everything I know about how to play Minesweeper. If you have any other tricks or tips, feel free to comment.